Today on Time About the Movies, more Adam Sandler bashing from yours truly. If you just saw my Happy Gilmore 2 review, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're heading into the really bad Adam Sandler comedies with Just Go With It. We have Justin Bieber in a documentary about how they said he'd never make it, even though he was only 16 when this was being made. Justin Bieber, Never Say Never. We have Toy Story with Gnomes, Romeo and Juliet. Channing Tatum in another movie in 2011 that's nowhere near as bad as The Dilemma is, but still not great either, The Eagle. And we have Ed Helms and John C. Reilly in the indie comedy Cedar Rapids. So let's take a look and see what February 11, 2011 has to offer us today on Time About the Movies.
Just go with it. In theaters February 11th.
And welcome to Time About the Movies. We are taking a look at the 5 films released on February 11, 2011. Not a lot of great movies. Case in point, our first film, Just Go With It. And you can pretty much see the problem with the movie from the get-go, from that trailer alone. But on a weekend trip to Hawaii, a plastic surgeon, played by Adam Sandler, convinces his loyal assistant, Jennifer Aniston, to pose as his soon-to-be divorced wife in order to cover up a careless lie he's told to his much younger girlfriend, played by Brooklyn Decker. You have Nicole Kidman, Dave Matthews, and Nick Swartzen also starring in the movie. And when you think of a generic bad Adam Sandler movie, this is usually the one to go to right here. I mean, this is literally a film that is nothing but a tax essentially a tax write-off for going on vacation to Hawaii, pretty much. I mean, that's literally what this movie is. Remember how Rob Reiner made the movie North, and it was considered to be one of his worst, arguably his worst movie, and the fact that he, at least in this person's case, it is his worst movie, and most people thought that he only made that movie for a vacation. Adam Sandler took that to the next level with several of his movies around this time period. I mean, we had Jack and Jill later in the year. What was another one? Blended. Even though Blended was actually one of the better ones, that's the one that nobody went to go see, but didn't stop him from making this one a hit, unfortunately. It's just a predictable romantic comedy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that as long as the chemistry is good between the two leads. And yeah, Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston do work off each other very well. They do have a nice chemistry that helps even with a bad script. And guess who wrote the script for this, ladies and gentlemen? Alan Loeb, who is clearly having a successful year with stuff like The Switch and Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, and just recently The Dilemma. Yeah, you can see why this guy didn't last very long as a writer in general. But, I mean, Brooklyn Decker's okay as Sandler's girlfriend, but she's just there to be that character. There's nothing about her that makes her stand out in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing about her that makes her unique. She's just there to be the character that clearly he's not going to get with at the end of the movie, and he's going to find out that he and Jennifer Aniston are meant to be. And that's pretty much what you expect from a movie like this. I mean, or at least you think, because it's been a while since I've seen this movie, and I'm just kind of looking back on my review here, and I do remember that this particular thing happens in general. Like one thing I'll give the movie credit is that it doesn't end like most romantic comedies do. And you know what I'm talking about. The guy goes about with his lie. The girlfriend finds out from his enemy that he's been lying to her, breaks up with him. You got this long, sad sequence, and then you got redemption for both characters. I like that they didn't do that this time around. They actually had a very unique way of doing it with this particular film. So on that note, I got to give them the proper credits for that in general. But with that said, though, there is still a ton wrong with this movie. And, Nicole Kidman, you got an Academy Award-winning actress who commands the screen whenever she's on it, but in this film, she is the most annoying character in this movie. She has so many moments in here where she does not need to be here whatsoever. Like, I also don't like the fact that there's so many bad jokes in this that just fall and fail on so many levels. I mean, the gross out jokes alone are just absolutely abysmal. I also hate this running joke about how the young daughter wants to be British and talks in a British accent, and it's stuff like that where, I hate that stuff. I really hate that stuff because it's not funny. It's not clever. It's a quirk that you're trying to make as a joke, and it's just not funny. It is not funny in any way, shape, or form. Dave Matthews grabs a coconut with his ass cheeks. Hilarious. The kid poops on Nick Swartzen's hands, and Nick Swartzen's grabbing the balls of his sheep and performing mouth-to-mouth CPR, and it's just like why? Like this movie, like there's so much of this movie that could work, but then you throw in these really lazy, bad jokes, and it just completely ruins it from the get-go. Like, it's just a really bad, gross-out comedy that, works because the chemistry between the two leads is fine, and the performance by Brooklyn Decker is okay too. But other than that, there really is nothing there that makes this worth it. At least for this movie, this is the most tolerable of Adam Sandler's bad movies he'll give us in 2011. And I guess I could say it's better than Due Date or Little Fockers, but that ain't really saying a whole lot. I never want to watch this movie again. I've had it on DVD for a number of years, and I've just never had the urge to go in and watch it again. Yeah, that just tells you everything to say about how much I don't really care for this movie all that much. But I'll say that it's not the worst thing ever, but that's not really saying a whole lot. So yeah, that's just go with it. Just don't go with it. In my personal opinion, just don't. But anyway, let's move on to our next movie, and that is Justin Bieber, Never Say Never.
Okay. He's 17! How long were they saying it? They said I'd never make it. For how long did they say it? About 6 weeks.
Craig Ferguson pretty much summed it up right there. Who said that this kid would never make it at the age of 16 years old? Like, what does that make? What sense does that make whatsoever? That's the biggest problem with the documentary in general that I'll get to in just a little bit. The camera follows Justin Bieber during the 10 days leading up to his August 2010 sold-out show at Madison Square Garden. Footage of these 10 days of concerts, rehearsals, and downtime with boyhood friends, his mother, and his entourage is intercut with home movies, old photos, and interviews showing a musical prodigy who loves to perform. Coming to the attention of an Atlanta agent via YouTube, impresses Usher and rockets to international stardom soon after his 15th birthday. His manager emphasizes the importance of social media and of Justin's work ethic and personality in making him a star. The camera emphasizes Bieber's look, his mom and grandparents shine. Blah, 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 blah. Where's the conflict? Where's the purpose? Like, where in this movie is the point where the audience is supposed to connect with Justin Bieber? Nowhere. Not anywhere in this movie. This is nothing but a love fest for Justin Bieber. We can't say anything bad about the kid. We can't say anything negative about him per se. It's just like this isn't like Michael Jackson's This Is It. This isn't like the Jonas Brothers. This isn't like the Hannah Montana Miley Cyrus concert. This is literally a concert where you're watching just everybody gloating about this kid and how great he is when he really is not that great. I mean, he really was not that great of a singer, and he became a fad pretty much almost immediately before eventually he had his resurgence later on as an adult. I mean, there's nothing about this movie that's incredible. There's nothing about this movie that's amazing. It's not even that enjoyable of a documentary. It is literally just 90 minutes of watching somebody, not even 90 minutes, 106 minutes, so I was close, but it's literally an hour and a half of a movie that's glorifying Justin Bieber while not saying anything about him that the audience doesn't already know about him already. I mean, that's pretty much all you got to say about how lazy this movie is. There's nothing about this documentary that's interesting. Even if you're a Justin Bieber fan, you're not really getting a whole lot that you don't already know about this person as it is. So what's the point? Why am I even in here? Like, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But hey, John Chu's a good director, and we know he's going to turn out to do some great stuff later on down the road, so take that for what you will. But, yeah, Justin Bieber, Never Say Never. So can we turn the tide with some of these movies? Let's see what our next movie has to offer us. Romeo and Juliet.
February 11th in 3D.
Okay, that bit was actually kind of funny with the gnome getting stuck in the fence. That was actually pretty good. I mean, this one actually, I'll give it credit. It's a lot better than you would give it credit for, because really, when you look at it, it's a movie where you think you know what you're going to get from it. It's basically Toy Story with gnomes mixed in with a little bit of Romeo and Juliet, but there was a little bit more to it in terms of enjoyment factor. It follows Romeo and Juliet, played by James McAvoy and Emily Blunt, who are a pair of garden gnomes who fall in love. But due to the feud between their respective families, they must find a way to keep their blossoming romance a secret. In addition to the two of them, you have a cast that includes Michael Caine, Maggie Smith, Jason Statham, Patrick Stewart, Ashley Jensen, Stephen Merchant, Matt Lucas, Jim Cummings, Julie Walters, Richard Wilson, Dolly Parton, and here's something interesting here, Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan. I say this because they just both passed away this week. They both died this week at the age of, I think Hulk Hogan was 71, Ozzy Osbourne I think was 76. I'm looking at it right here, but yeah, didn't even realize that until I looked this up. But it was directed by Kelly Asbury. Kelly Asbury has worked on a lot of DreamWorks animated stuff, specifically with Spirit, Stallion and Cimarron, Romeo and Juliet. He's also done a lot of stuff for Disney, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Toy Story. So there is talent across the board with the movie, and the movie itself isn't bad. Far from it. It's actually, it's decent. It's a good, the type of movie that you go and see. You take the kids to see it, and you don't feel like you're completely embarrassing your kids' integrity by showing them a really lazy movie. You show them this movie, and it's a very harmless film. It's a film that gives them what they want, and you get entertainment value out of it yourself. And coincidentally, I think it's kind of funny that we have two movies this weekend that are G-rated movies. Back when the G rating actually still kind of meant something to people. I mean, this and Justin Bieber, Never Say Never, that surprisingly got a G rating, but this one, I think, is the much better movie. It's not a great movie overall. There's definitely flawed stuff all across the board in terms of the story and some of the setups for jokes in general, but when you see what you get in this movie, it's actually a lot more than you think it would be. It's actually kind of a fun film. I won't say it's a great movie per se, but it definitely is a lot better than people would let on. The sequel with Johnny Depp as Sherlock Gnomes, not so much, but we'll save that for 2018. But Romeo and Juliet, I wouldn't recommend this to the casual viewer in general, but if you go into a movie like this with a good mindset and want to see a decent animated film in general, you get it here in general. So take that for what you will. That's Romeo and Juliet. So let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, Channing Tatum and Jamie Bell in The Eagle. This is the latest film from Kevin MacDonald, the director of The Last King of Scotland and State of Play, two really good movies. This one, not so much. This is based off of Rosemary Sutcliffe's historical adventure novel, The Eagle on the Ninth, and tells the story of a young Roman officer, played by Channing Tatum, attempting to recover the lost Roman eagle standard of his father's legion in Caledonia, his father being played by Donald Sutherland. The story is based on the Ninth Spanish Legion's supposed disappearance in Britain. Historically, the purported disappearance of the Ninth Legion in northern Britain is a subject of debate. On a technical level, the movie itself looks pretty good. The casting overall isn't bad either. Channing Tatum does actually show that he is trying his best to make the movie work. I mean, not to say that his performance in The Dilemma was bad. It was just a badly written character in general, and it was kind of fun to see him play a character that was more comedic than just as a typical action hero. So really, The Dilemma wasn't his fault. He was just given a really bad script to work with. Here he's actually not doing a bad job here. Everybody here is playing their parts very well. Jamie Bell, Donald Sutherland, Mark Strong, Dennis O'Hare. The biggest problem is that the direction isn't real. The direction overall was fine. I wouldn't even say that that's bad in general, but there's nothing really about it that makes it stand out in general. It feels like it's trying way too hard to be the next Gladiator or A Knight's Tale or that type of a movie, and the visual look of the film just doesn't work very well. It just feels like stuff we've seen done before, like that. You know, how many times have you seen battles on the fields with all these horses and these action sequences going on behind you? It's just like, give me something that actually makes it stand out compared to other ones here. Because other than that, there's really nothing about the film that makes it stand out in any way, shape, or form. And it's just kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, what's the purpose? Why are we still here? Like, why are we still here? Just to suffer, if you know what that is, but yeah, other than that, there's really nothing about this film that makes me say you might want to check it out. I mean, yeah, you could watch it to see some good performances by Tatum, Bell, Sutherland, and Mark Strong, but in the end, it's not really worth it in my opinion, so take that for what you will. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last film, which is easily the best film of the week, and that is Ed Helms in Cedar Rapids. Yeah, it's not really much of a shocker why this is the best movie of the entire week. This is definitely the one that definitely has more to it than the other releases we've had here. But In this film, you have Ed Helms, who plays the guy that people always thought would go places, but then they just don't. He's been living in uber sleepy Brown Valley, Wisconsin his whole life, still pre-engaged to a 7th grade teacher played by Sigourney Weaver, while selling insurance to protect other people's dreams. But now Tim's stalled life is about to get a kickstart because for the first time in his 34 years, he's heading to a major metropolis, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where he must try to save his company at a do-or-die insurance convention that for him will be entirely unconventional. From the moment he checks into the hotel with his ancient American tourister and cummerbund money boat, it's clear Tim has no idea how the modern world really works. He is soon smitten with seductive Nebraskan insurance agent Joan Ostrowski Fox, played by the late Anne Hesh, and awed by his experienced roommates, the straight-shooting Ronald Wilkes, played by Isaiah Whitlock Jr., and the suspicious Dean Ziegler, played by John C. Reilly. Disheartened when he comes face-to-face with his own corporate corruption, Tim is ultimately lured beyond the lobby into an urban jungle he's only ever seen on DVD, and when it seems his life and chances to succeed have gone completely topsy-turvy, he finds his own unjaded way to turn it all around. It's a long synopsis. I was trying to read that off to you real quickly, but yeah, this is a really, really good movie written by Phil Johnston, who will later find success again with John C. Reilly with the Wreck-It Ralph movies, and also wrote Zootopia. Miguel Arteta, who also did The Good Girl and Youth and Revolt. He was on a nice stretch of films at this point, and then he completely ruined that, starting with his next movie, Alexander the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. But this film is really good. This is a really, really funny movie. Ed Helms is playing this role very well here. He really commands the screen in here. The cast overall is great. I mean, Sigourney Weaver, she's only in there she's not in there a whole lot, but you definitely notice her presence in there. You know, Mai Whitman from Arrested Development is in here playing a really good role in here. John C. Reilly is great. Isaiah Whitlock's really good. Anne Hesh, really good in here, looking unbelievably sexy in this movie. Stephen Root, you see him in the trailer there, but you see him in the trailer for the movie, I should say. I don't think you see him in that commercial, but, you know, Kurtwood Smith, Thomas Lennon. It's not Mai Whitman, it's Alia Shawkat from Arrested Development. I'm sorry, I got that mistaken, but it's Alia Shawkat, not Mai Whitman. But Rob Corddry, Mike O'Malley, Mike Birbiglia, solid cast in the movie. And just everybody plays their parts very well. It's a very simple, straightforward comedy, but it works because the writing is so good. The cast is game for it. The comedy is really good. It knows how to entertain the audience, and it doesn't insult your intelligence. It's a good, fun time all across the board. It's a really good movie, a really hilarious film. I really enjoy the hell out of it. I think it's a really funny film. I can't recommend this one enough. Cedar Rapids, seek it out if you can find it. It's a really, really good movie, plain and simple. Well, the weekend didn't get off to the best start, but at least we ended on some high notes in the second half of it, at least. But that's going to wrap this episode of Time About the Movies up. Next time we meet, we'll take a look at the 3 films of February 18th, including Liam Neeson's latest film, Unknown, which is the latest from director Jamie Collet-Serra, the first of several movies he'll work with him. The two will work on in the years to come. We also have I Am Number 4, which is the newest attempt to create the next Twilight, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings type of franchise based off of a series of young adult novels, and one that has local ties because it was actually filmed at the high school I graduated from. So I'll delve more into that on the next episode. And then here's another sequel nobody was asking for, Big Mamas Like Father Like Son, with Martin Lawrence and Brandon T. Jackson in the film that literally killed his acting career because he never recovered from this film. And once you see it, it's hard not to see why. I don't know why you would want to see it, but I'll talk more about it coming up on the next episode. That'll be tomorrow. So, with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and also check out the last episode we did. And a reminder, tonight on this channel, on YouTube, the Reviewing Network Live celebrates its 100th episode, and I'll be doing the video on there, on the YouTube channel there, and then the audio version will be available on the Reviewing Network Live in the coming days. So definitely be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming up later tonight here on YouTube. But with all that said, thank you for watching this. Whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.